Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Benavente. I am a software developer and team lead on the Want2Remember project. Today, our team would like to share the amazing work we've done over the span of a year. To begin, I want to introduce all of the developers that made this project get to where it is today. You'll hear from each and every one of them throughout this presentation. So on our team, we have myself, Kevin Benavente, Jesus B. Osuna, Edward Ramirez, Thomas Weatherell, Leon Huang, Tanya Kitchaiskulrit, Jesus Ramon, and Alejandro Salazar. This project would also not have been possible without the assistance of our liaisons, Michael C. Malone, CEO and founder of We2link, and Stephen Conaway, software liaison and mobile application engineer at We2link. We have amazing topics that we want to share with you today. First, we want to talk about the purpose of our project. Next, we will dive into the team scope of work, followed by the framework we used for our project, and after that, we will dive into our navigational flow, then our data and Redux flow, which will then lead us to an overview of some of our main screens, such as home screens, quick looks, create screens, and more details. After, we will present a live demo of our mobile application. And last but definitely not least, we would like to discuss the future work of this project. I will now pass it on to my teammate, Jesus Osuna.
Hello, my name is Jesus Osuna, and today we'll be talking about how Want2Remember is a healthcare smartphone application designed to help improve the lives and care of patients with traumatic brain injury, TBI, Alzheimer's, dementia, and other cognitive health apps. How the app works is it records memories the user inputs, as well as the medication the user takes, remembering appointments, to-do tasks, and interactions. We2link's founder, Colonel Michael C. Malone, suffered his first mild TBI in 2012 as a result of an airborne jump landing. This first injury did not significantly impact his life. His second injury occurred after his last combat deployment and has been undergoing treatment at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center since July 2016. The second injury caused a significant drop in cognitive function and a variety of other related challenges. Colonel Malone has discussed the challenges of living with TBI with dozens of other patients and their caregivers while they received care at Walter Reed. Based upon these discussions and his daily experiences with TBI and the impacts of his daily life, he has developed the concepts to implement in with a We2link mobile app. The team's scope of work consisted of the following: React Native learning, interface redesign, UI and the UX, memory templates, sorting and filtering, code refactoring, user questions and support, and the Agile methodology we use for development.
Hello, my name is Edward Ramirez, and I'm going to be talking about the framework that the Want2Remember application is built on. The Want2Remember application is built using a cross-platform framework called React Native. React Native is an open source framework for mobile development that was launched by Facebook on March 26, 2015. One of the main reasons why the Want2Remember application is built on the React Native framework is its cross-platform capability. Using React Native, we can develop the application for both Android and iOS without the need of various languages such as Java and Swift. Development for both Android and iOS, as well as other supporting platforms such as Android TV and tvOS, is done using JavaScript inside the React Native framework. React Native does this by creating a bridge between JavaScript and native components that directly communicate with one another. One of React Native's strongest features is the use of components within the framework. Components are reusable aspects of code that can be repurposed and reused throughout the whole application. React components work by wrapping existing native code and interacting with native APIs via React's declarative UI paradigm and JavaScript. In other words, React Native components work like building blocks, where the whole application is built using small blocks of code to achieve a complex and large-scale application. Another advantage that React Native has is the vast number of open source libraries. Because of the large number of users, powerful and well-maintained libraries are widely available to the React Native community. These libraries are extremely useful when tackling complex components and running tight deadlines. Through the ability of cross-platform development, startup companies such as We2link greatly reduce costs by only having one engineer work simultaneously on both Android and iOS platforms. React Native features such as components also vastly decrease development time by allowing the engineer to repurpose code throughout the entire application. Open source libraries also greatly diminish the development time by having usable code ready and available at any given moment. Because of React Native's overwhelming popularity, there is a strong community for the framework. A strong presence of React Native communities can be found on sites such as Stack Overflow, Twitter, and Facebook. Because React Native is a young and constantly evolving framework, these communities are essential for growth for not only React Native, but the React Native developer.
Hi, my name is Leon, and I will go over the navigational flow of the app. When you first launch the app, you will be sent to the homepage shown here. The main content of the homepage are the memory quick looks shown here. A quick look is pretty much a summary of a memory you have created. If you want to see more details for that memory, you click on the quick look and it will send you to a more detailed screen where you can edit with these two buttons here, and that will send you to an edit screen. If you want to create a new memory, you press the big plus button on the homepage, and that will send you to a category selection screen. After you select a category, it will send you to a create screen. The general fields of a create screen might have things like an emoji selection, a date selection, a time selection, or a tag selection. You can also manage the categories of the memory from the create screen. Once you're done, you can press the button on the top right or the center bottom, and that will send the memory to the homepage as a quick look. Down here, we have the contacts button. This will lead you to the contacts page where it will sync up with the contacts from your phone. Each of the contacts will be shown briefly like a quick look, and then you can see more details by pressing the view more buttons of each contact down below here. And then that will send you to a more detailed version for the contacts. Here at the top of the homepage, there's a help button that will send you to the feedback screen where you can send feedback and get help. Next to that button is a account settings button, which will lead you to the account screen. There is an import and export memory button for your memory data, and you can import external data too. You can also edit app reminders to tell you when to use the app. And you can also edit and set the pin for security purposes. At the bottom, there's another feedback button that will send you back to the feedback screen. And that is the general overview of our Want2Remember app.
Hi, my name is Thomas Weatherell, and I'm going to be talking about our Redux data store that we use within the application. Redux is a helpful framework for managing data operations. Within the Redux code, we define what are called reducers, which can be compared to tables within a database. Each reducer is responsible for data operations within a specific portion of the app. On the left, you can see the 5 different categories for reducers that we have created: contacts, memories, notifications, categories, and users. Within the square for each reducer, you can see what kind of data is stored. For example, within the categories reducer, we store all of the user-created custom categories. On the right is a flowchart which details the Redux data flow from each screen of the application. You can see how different reducer methods come into play when saving and loading user data within different screens of the application. An example of this is when a user selects a memory to view, the memories reducer will load all of the necessary details associated with that memory onto the screen. Another example would be when a user synchronizes their contacts into the application. When the user does this, we use a dispatch method for the contacts reducer to update the list of contacts stored within the app. These are only a few examples of how Redux is used within the app. It's something that we use extensively throughout each functional screen of the application, and it's really an essential part of the core of our app. Next, we will be going into some examples of the different screens in the app and how they function.
Hello, my name is Jesus Roman, and I will be going over the home screen. The home screen is the very first thing that the user sees once they open up the app, as you can see on the image to the left, or up until they add their own memories. Once they do so, it will resemble the image on the right. The home screen can be broken up into 3 different parts: the header, body, and bottom tab navigator. The header contains 3 important buttons and a row of category filters. Help, settings, and filters are the 3 buttons. The help button allows the user to send feedback, so any issues they're having, suggestions, or questions. The settings buttons will take the user to the account screen. That's where the user is able to import, export memories, create or edit reminders, as well as PIN numbers, send feedback, or sign out of the app. The filter button allows the user to filter their memories based on type of memory, such as generic, simple, or credit card, as well as by date. And this can be done through quick dates, such as today, tomorrow, this week, or by selecting a specific date through the calendar. The final component of the header is the category filter. By default, the home screen will display all types of memories. The category filter allows the user to filter the memories based on the category that they were assigned. So by fact, people, secured, or their own custom created category. Now moving on to the body. As I mentioned before, it'll look like the image on the left up until the user creates their first memory. Once they do so, it'll look like the image on the right. It'll contain quick looks. Quick looks are brief overviews of the memories that the user has created. When pressed, it will redirect the user to a screen with more details regarding the memory selected. The type of memory we decided to focus on for this presentation is to-do. To-do is the quick look on the image to the right, the blue quick look, and we decided to focus on this type of memory because it really shows a lot of the components that the team created throughout the project, not only for the quick look, but for the more details and create screen as well. So the final component of the home screen is the bottom tab navigator. This allows the user to navigate between the home screen, medications, create, search, and contacts. Medications look similar to the home screen. It also contains quick looks. However, it's mainly used to provide brief overviews of the user's medication, such as when to take their medication, the dosage, and whether they've taken it yet or not. The create button is self-explanatory. It's another way for the user to create a memory. The search screen allows the user to search for a specific memory based on title and tags. And finally, there's the contacts. Contacts syncs with the user's contacts on their phone, and upon selecting a person, it will show the memories that they are associated with, if any. The user is also able to create new contacts on this screen. So now let's move on to the create screen.
Hello, it's me, Kevin, once again, here to talk about our create screens. So the Want2Remember application has pre-made templates, such as a generic memory, to-do, interaction, and simple password. On the right side of the slide, you can see an example of our to-do create screen. Create screens play a huge role in our application simply because it's the only way our users can get their information into our application. To-do, in this case, starts off by asking the user to enter the title for this to-do. Next, we ask the user to associate categories to this to-do instance. And this is used for filtering and or search purposes later in the app. This category picker also enables the user to create their own categories if they wish to expand on the options provided by default. Later in this presentation, you'll get to see this create screen in action, along with the use of the input fields you see here and others below. So over the year, our team has been hard at work redesigning the user interface, user experience, and data flow of all the components in our create screens. We're faced with various challenges, such as keeping track of the user's input state, making sure our components get the correct data, and making sure that the users are able to use the components with minimal effort, while still looking amazing. I want to now pass it over to my teammate, Alejandro Salazar.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Salazar and I will be going over the more detail screen. To access the more detail screen, you need to start by looking for the quick look of the given memory you want to see, and then you tap it. The more detail screen is where all the information about memory is stored. Here we will be able to see passwords, dates, either of the creation of the memory or appointments associated with it, start and end times of tasks, people, and other information. On this screen, you can either delete a memory or move to the edit screen. Some components can be interacted with in the more detail screen. By tapping on a website URL, you will open the browser to the given website. Tapping on a status will allow you to change the status without needing to go to the edit screen. And tapping on people will show the entire list of people associated with a memory. If it's a secured memory, it will ask you for your created PIN before you're allowed to view, edit, or delete a memory. If you have forgotten your PIN, you can answer your security question to regain access to your secured memories. Similar to the Create screen, the More Detail screen uses a template to render all the More Detail screens. The More Detail screens check for the type of memory and renders the proper header color and the appropriate components in the order dictated by the memory type. The majority of the components are reused in all the More Detail screens. The modular reuse allows us to make edits that will appear app-wide, saving our team time and effort when making changes to the application.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and this is a demonstration of Want2Remember app on Android operating system. This is the first screen that users will see when accessing the app. Right now, there is no memory, but I can begin creating a memory by tapping this blue button. The app contains numerous memory templates to choose from. For this example, I would like to create a to-do memory. Let's say the graduation draws near, and there are many things I have to do. For the title, I'll name it Finish Strong. Graduation. For the category, categories can be selected to categorize the memory, and also help finding memories easier if needed, which I'll go more into detail later after creating this memory. I'll choose Event and People. In this Files section, users have the option to include files or photos that might be necessary to associate with the memory. After that, this Date and Time section, I'll choose today's date, as in when I'm creating this memory. Users can also choose not to enter any of the fields if not needed. For this status, users can select one to remind them of the status of the memory, which can be updated later as they see fit. I'll choose Pending. Emoji can be added as well for extra flavor. I'll choose Happy Face. Tags can also be added to further detailing the memory. I'll add Graduate and Preparation, for example. I can also choose to include people from my contacts who would be associated with this memory. I'll add a few. I can also add a location. The graduation will be held at Rose Bowl Stadium. For this particular to-do memory, I can add tasks that would help me completing the goal of to-do. In the first task, I'll add Invite family to grad ceremony. For the task description, inform them that will be held at Rose Bowl Stadium. I'll tell them at May 20. Maybe I'll tell them at 10 in the morning. I expect it to be done before lunchtime. I'll choose Pending. For tags, I'll add commencement Things to bring? Probably none. Let's add another task. Maybe I'll also have to meet with advisor. Task description. Discuss to clear any requirements for graduation. I'll talk to the advisor by maybe at May 25th. I'll talk to the advisor at 10 in the morning, and I expect to be done by lunchtime as well. I also choose pending. For task, I'll add discussion. And things to bring, maybe questions and necessary papers. Users can add extra notes if they want, but let's say I finish creating this memory. By tapping this button, the memory will be created. Now I can see the memory I have created on this screen in a quick look form. If there are more memories, users can select a category from this tab to easily find memories in particular. For this to-do memory, I have the option to update each task depending on its status. The progress bar shows how far from completing the to-do. If I update the task to be done, the progress bar will show that I have completed all the tasks for this to-do. If I want to see more information about this memory, I can tap the memory card like so. And now I can see all the details that I have entered into this memory. I also have the option to edit or delete this memory. And that is an example usage of Want2Remember app. Thank you.
Hello once again, it's me Kevin. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, our team has put time and effort into every single component that we had the honor to redesign and/or implement. Today, you got to see how we manage our data with Redux, what the user sees when they are first presented to our mobile application via the home screen, how the user creates memories with our create screens, how the user can quickly see their data on the home screen by means of quick looks, and finally, how our users can see all the details associated to a specific memory with our more detailed screen. While our project has sadly come to a close, the Want2Remember mobile application has other functionalities planned. Functionalities like cloud support, geo-proximity, geo-safety, medications, and machine learning are all examples of future work for this application. It has been an honor to have worked on such a meaningful project and to have worked with such an amazing development team. We would also like to thank our liaisons for assisting us with planning and resources, as well as being readily available. And lastly, we want to thank our faculty advisor, Dr. Zilong Ye, for mentoring and providing support to the team whenever needed. Thank you so much for listening.